How you doing? My name's Tony from Rizzuto's, and we're going to be making our Seafood Arrabiata today. So to begin our Seafood Arrabiata, we start off with our little neck clams, and what we want to do is we want to start those ahead of time, separate pan, so that way they can be opened without being overcooked. And we like to start those in a little white wine, garlic, and herbs. We'll put a lid on there, that way they can properly steam open. In a separate pan, you want to start warming up some extra virgin olive oil. You want to put a decent amount in there. You probably want about an ounce or so to start with. In this pan there, we will put some, we use some jumbo shrimp in this dish. You want to season your shrimp first before you would go into your pan, allowing your oil to get a little bit hot. Once your shrimp start to sear, you pretty much want at that point start to turn your shrimp over. Once they start getting a little color on them, they'll start turning a reddish pink. At that point there, you want to add some of your toasted garlic chips in, as much as you like. You also want to put a little bit of red chili flake in. This will determine some of your spice on the dish. We usually make it moderately spicy for here in a restaurant. This is a chiffonade basil with a little bit of parsley mixed in, Italian parsley. And you want to add that right into the oil that way. You even add a little bit more extra virgin. You really want the chili and the basil kind of bloom in the oil, get the flavors out along with the garlic. This point here is when we like to add our mussels. We add our mussels right to the pan. You also want to, at this time, take your shrimp and kind of bring them to the top of the mussels a little bit. That way to prevent them from overcooking too much. Want to add a little bit more seasoning to your mussels. Check our clams. Clams seem to be doing well. Slowly starting to open. Let our mussels saute for a minute. When the mussels start to get about halfway open is when we'll add the rest of our ingredients. We make an Arrabiata-based sauce. It's made with canned plum tomatoes and spicy Italian chilies, roasted red peppers, a lot of caramelized julienne onion, and fresh basil, and a good amount of olive oil. And that's the base which we'll add to this pasta, and that'll be it for that. And we can probably add that in about this time. This time here, we usually like to take the shrimp right out of the pan, let them rest on the side, because like I said, we do not want them to overcook. Give our mussels a chance to finish opening. Come back and check our clams. Always start the clams first, try to put a lid on them because they do take the longest. The fresher they are, the longer they'll take to open. You usually keep them nice and cold, keep all our shellfish iced, so that way it's gonna take a few minutes for the clams to actually open. Once your mussels start opening like that, we usually like to take a little fresh lemon. The lemon goes well with the seafood in the dish and the tomato, and it really helps brighten it up, really brings out the flavor of the heat. You just want to let this cook for a few minutes, just making sure all your mussels fully open up. At this point here, we use a Di Cecco bucatini pasta, and we par cook it al dente. That way, during service on the line, we just quickly drop it in our pasta water, which is salted. We can bring it. And you always want to, whenever you're doing any kind of pasta, you always want to allow the noodles to cook in with your sauce, no matter what it is, whether it was this or, you know, a penne vodka or even a spaghetti and meatballs. You want to just cook your pasta long enough and then get it into your sauce and really let it cook out in your sauce. It's a good pointer for a lot of people doing this at home, is just really letting your noodles absorb the sauce and just suck it all in. You also want to add a little bit more olive oil. This dish probably in total, you'll probably end up adding about 2.5 ounces of olive oil once it's at the very end. It also finishes the sauce very nice, gives a nice shine. Check our clams. Clams are opening up nicely. At this point, as soon as they open, you want to take them out. You don't want them to overcook at all. Put those right on top. You know, it's all about just the different stages, just layering the different flavors within the pasta. You know, you want to put your shrimp back in, making sure that they're fully cooked. Add a little bit more seasoning. A little bit more herbs. One last bit of olive oil. You can see that sauce is reducing nicely. Pasta soaking, the noodles, the pasta, they soak up nice sauce. It helps the starch comes out of the pasta, helps thicken it up a little bit, and therefore the sauce absorbs into the noodles, so you really get your full rounded flavors. To make a nice arrangement, make sure everybody can see the different seafood, the mussels, the shrimp. We garnish this with a little bit of our grilled peasant bread, a little bit extra olive oil over the top, and that's our seafood arrabbiata at Rizzuto's.